is much too much, or wouldn't you say? A second is too short, an eon too long. A week is just stupid, and so is this song. Ooh, everybody's got a half an hour. Haven't you got a half an hour? This bill only needs a half an hour. So come in and stay.
Live from Bangkok, Thailand, the video podcasting capital of the world, it's the Kirchenbauer Haffenhauer, starring me, Bill Kirchenbauer, along with Paul Brumbaugh, here on the Kirchenbauer Haffenhauer. Our motto is, I talk to myself all the time, so you might as well listen in. Welcome back to our, I don't know what episode it is, I've lost track, and that's a good thing. And I'm not just here, I'm here along with Paul. Paul, want to take a bow so they know you're not a fig Newton of my imagination?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
That's Paul. So, sometimes I plan these things. Sometimes I kind of plan them, and sometimes I don't plan them at all. But I do have some things here I had an experience this week, and that's always a good thing. But I had an experience. It's the kind of thing that, as I go through life, I'm old, so I'm a little bit of get off my lawn, but I just, it's old culture clashing with new. And I don't know. Here's what happened. I signed up for an AI platform to start playing with AI. And it's called Super Cool, which I think is a kind of a dumb name, but so it's Chat GPT, but anyway, it's called Super Cool. And I saw some stuff on it. I was fairly impressed with it. And so I signed up for it. It's not too much monthly, of course. Then they want you to add on. They always, all these things online, they always want to, it's only $3. And then when you end up with buying all the bells and whistles, it ends up to be $57 or $87 or a monthly subscription or things like that. So I signed up for this, and then they said, "Oh, you can have a little orientation meeting. There we have orientation classes every 3 times a week, and if you want to, you can watch one of those." And I thought, well, I don't know anything about this, so I might as well. It required me staying up very late because this was happening in the United States. So I go on to the Zoom meeting, and there's this British guy leading the thing. And he's doing, I don't know if he's doing it from a closet. It really kind of looked like a closet. He said it was a new apartment. But he may know AI, but he doesn't know how to set up a picture, because he had he was in this closet and there was a window back, like right about here, right? No. I have to think that right about here, there's a window, square window that looks like something that would be in a closet, and the sunlight's coming into it. So he's pointing this. He's so stupid. he may know AI, but he doesn't know how to set up a picture. He's shooting into this, the camera into the thing, and he's in between. And it's like having someone talk to you and point a flashlight at your face. How annoying is that? So I said, okay, well, I typed in, you could talk to him. I typed in, you shouldn't point your camera at a bright light. He didn't say anything. He gets a lot of comments. So he's going on, and he's got one of these habits. And this is my thing about when people talk. And we spoke about this before. But people judge you by the way you speak. And you don't have to have an English accent and talk like this all the time to be properly, but sound like an adult. This guy had a habit of saying, and this is very common. I see this on YouTubers all the time. So guys, yeah, listen, guys, and so guys, it's guys. It's guys. This guy's saying guys all the time, and I used to say to people and again, this is very common. I run across the YouTubers all the time, and it's annoying. And I don't know if he does it. And I've always said, if you want to sound like an idiot in your own private life, go right ahead. But as soon as you put your ass on the internet or going to be in your own little commercials, then you have to raise the bar a little bit and sound like somebody that knows how to speak. And this guy was this guy, so guys. And I said to him, I used to say, well, you quote the guys. Now I do it the opposite way. I said, could you please say guys a lot more? You don't say it enough. So he sees this and he goes, oh, Bill Kelly there, he doesn't like the way I was saying guys. Oh, really, well, guys. And he got shitty about it. He got really, really shitty. Well, you don't like it? Well, I'm going to do it more. Now, I'm a customer. This is like if I walked into a restaurant. Is this how he would treat me if I walked into a restaurant? Oh, you don't like the salt? Well, let's add some more salt to you then. You know, real asshole. Just an asshole. And I said, it's annoying. And he said, oh, really? And then he kicked me off the chat. And
well, it's probably because he deals with AI and computers and not people. He's not socialized. Right. He's not socialized like the dogs, right?
Exactly. He doesn't have the social. And what's more important is that he thinks this is trite. That this is now. I went on Reddit, and which my wife just recently introduced me to, and you can look up anything on there. It's really quite amazing. Yes. And so I went on Reddit and I looked up people that say guys all the time. And it seemed to be kind of a mixture of how people feel about this. My first thing is it's annoying and repetitive. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. Just don't do it all the fucking time. I mean, just, all the time. And so, and the thing I have problem with it is that guys is pretty much a masculine thing. So it's kind of, not very respectful of the women that may be tuning in. So,
right.
Hey guys,
change it up to folks or something. Hey folks.
Exactly. Hey folks. Hey everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go old time. Hey everyone. But not hey guys. Guys. And now it's turned into people using that is up there with bro. And
right.
is up there with bro, bruh, and dude.
Right.
I just, when you start saying that stuff, my respect for your intelligence just drops by about 15% every time you start doing it. And I personally, when talking to people, I won't put up with it. I just say, I'll say it depends on what it's like at a party, which I don't go to. But if I'm talking, I say, do you realize how much you say bro? Or I'll say, I'm not your bro. I'm not your bruh. And I'm not a dude. And it's moo cow thinking is what Gallagher used to call it. It's which means one cow follows the other's ass. And the other cow in front of him follows the ass and the other cow in front of him. And it goes on. And it's like me saying groovy. If I'd say groovy all the time, or all the past. Remember Paul back from Laughing, all the catchphrases. Sock it to me. Here come the judge. It's just stupid, and it's a moo cow thinking that. And I've never been into it. And so anyway, I said this to this guy, and he took offense to it and kicked me off the board. And I thought, what an asshole! Is that really how? When a customer is giving you feedback, I have a friend of mine, Ross Schaefer, and he goes around and charges a lot of money for lecturing companies on how not to be assholes and how to do customer service is really, I guess, the right way to say it. And I asked him once, I said, Ross, what is the biggest mistake that companies make? And immediately he said, arguing with the customer.
Right.
And I said, oh, really? He said, now, the customer, that's not the same thing as the customer is always right.
He's right.
Sometimes the customer is not right. But arguing with the customer over little things, not listening to feedback. And I, as a customer, was giving this guy feedback saying, hey, I'm not 19 years old and you're being a professional. Maybe you should act like the 36-year-old man that you are and get out of the 14-year-old high school speak. And he blew it off and was actually pretty rude to me, kind of like, fuck you, I'm going to say it more. Guys. So that's what happened. And I want to show a couple of examples of these are two guys that no, I'm saying that. These are two gentlemen that I ran across on the internet, and they have video shows, and I confronted them about their repetitive habit. That's what it is, a verbal repetitive habit that people develop. So at one point, for each one of these guys, I took and I clipped them saying, now, one of them says really. That's the only adjective he knows is really. And so if you could play that one guy, the guy with the red nose, that looks like he drinks.
Definitely puts the city here on the map. So yeah, it was just really good here on the map. So yeah, it was just really good. And something I've got to manage. We had a really good day. We had a really good day. We looked really nice. So many people say, Trev, they looked really nice. You know what I really like about it, and the reason down, and it was brilliant. It was really good. Everybody, and we just had a really enjoyable time. Really do some incredible displays. How they organise it is beyond me. It's really clever. But statues, etc. It was a really cool show and a cool.
Okay, so that gives you the idea. He's a. I've gone black here.
Yeah, I gotcha.
This is a video YouTuber for Thailand, and he's, as you can hear, British, and he talks about this. But I talked to him, and he got shitty about it too. He said, "Well, some guys talked about me. I'm saying really, and find another adjective. There's a whole lot of buy a thesaurus. Look up other adjectives. There's another YouTuber that used to say awesome all the time. And now here's another guy. This guy has made a YouTube video career of talking about Trump and what an idiot he is. But it's like going to a restaurant that's got good food and bad service. But maybe you can run the other one too and watch how this manifests.
Jared basically cut basically from election night because while Rudy was basically drunk all the time, spreading is the host from Newsmax basically saying charity work and things like that. She's basically gone away into hiding. The whole clip. But it's basically Trump struggling, and he basically says, when are we going to see talking? Unless you guys are basically living separate lives. Unless you're basically seeing Melania. Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, basically just said that and basically what Mike Lindell is saying is, the host from Newsmax basically saying she basically resigned her party, blah, 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 and that basically their marriage is a sham, blah, 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 blah. They played a role in vote tabulation and blah, 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 blah. And so it's basically being insubordinate. With Kamala Harris in the White House, it basically means that she needs to basically support a violent takeover. It's basically, she was giving a speech, and she basically pinched a few key lines for basically the top Republican woman. She's basically moved out of the Trump family. Neely was basically saying, look, as long as the... But that's the thing. You basically steal your wife's phone lines, and in those cases, he basically stole Melania's phone line. When Trump puts this statement out, he's basically saying, look, all these people, basically Donald Trump exploited dastardly to basically take the well-run basically everywhere in red states, blue states, and swing states. That is basically indisputable. Saying Donald Trump should still be president, is still the right guy, blah, 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 blah. And so that's really part of this.
All right. We are back.
Okay. So there's a perfect example. He's by the way, I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a Canadian, and he's not an idiot. I looked him up. He's like a professor of political science from Canada. What he's doing, talking about American politics, I don't know, but he goes in depth about it. And none of those were repetitive. I promise you, I did not repeat any of the basicallys. He did those on his own. You can tell by this shirt and I mean, he'll do that several times during one. Usually, he should do about 6 minutes, and he would do it 12 times, 12, 14 times during the time. And what gets me is that you think he would be aware of that kind of thing, but people do this, and people do it all the time. And you know, the guy that, remember Farrell's ice cream?
Yeah.
Well,
Love
yeah, okay.
Farrell's
They
ice
went out
cream.
of business. They pretty much went out of business. They were really popular. It was an ice cream. If you don't remember, or you weren't born yet, it was an ice cream parlor, and it was kind of based on an old fashioned. Everybody dressed like it was 1902, and it was great ice cream and everything. They even had a big bucket with that they bring out this big bowl of ice cream for that the whole table would share, and they'd
It
ring
was
a
called
bell
the zoo. It was called the zoo. And they would bring out this big, huge bowl. You're absolutely right, because I got one. I had to get one for my birthday, and
that's what they do.
It's a big bowl of ice cream, and they got every kind of ice cream in there. And then they put little plastic, like animals, like toys, and it looks like a zoo.
But they had it like on a stretcher.
Yes, they would bring it out on a stretcher, and they would put the siren on, and woo, and the whole thing.
So the guy that came up with the Farrells, and back at that time it was very innovative, lots of fun. Everybody loved to go to Farrells. He once said, he wrote a book after he retired, and it was called "Give 'Em the Pickle." And what would happen was, when you go into a Farrells, as soon as you sit down, you'd get a little bucket of pickles, of really good kosher pickles, just right away, before you say anything, and give them the pickle. And so it was a free thing. And I've always said to restaurants, people love to get free stuff. There's a place called the Pantry in Los Angeles, was opened like 1910. It's still there. And as soon as you go in there, they give you sourdough bread, real butter, and a little celery greenery thing. Before you say boo, it's boom, you got food. Anyway, that's what they used to do at Farrell's, and they would give people pickles. And he was visiting one of his places once, and he saw a waiter or a waitress serving a table, and they had gone through their pickles. And the guy at the table said to the waiter, "We ran out of pickles. Could we get some more pickles?" And the waiter said, "No, that's it. You get those pickles, and that's it." And the guy was very, really, I can't. All right. So Mr. Farrell, whatever his name, it wasn't Farrell, went over and took the kid by the arm, and he took him over in a corner and said, and he held him and said, "Give him the pickle. Give him the pickle. It's a pickle. You're pissing off a customer over a pickle." And so he wrote this whole book about customer service, and it was called "Give 'Em the Pickle."
Oh my goodness.
And I think that pretty much pertains to like what happened to me with this guy. I expressed the fact that I wanted, a pickle, and he pretty much said, "Fuck you," acted like a dick and cut me off. And that is not good business practices.
No.
I was not being an asshole. I was calling to his attention that he doesn't have very good social skills. And if you want to sound like an idiot and say "dude," that's fine in your personal life. But if you're going to be on there, you're talking to everybody. It's a mixture of everybody. And I'm not 23, and I don't like listening to people say guys all the time. Okay, so that's the end of that. We're going to end that. That's my expression. I also, I lay in bed at night and I think of this kind of stuff. And one of them is how much I like ice cold water. Don't you like ice cold water?
I do.
I like to drink a lot of things, but I really, really do think that, especially when it's ice cold, you can it's just a side of ice. I put it in the freezer and oh God.
No, I'm the same way, and I even have mine. Mine has to be bubbly water, but it comes right out of the filter in the refrigerator, so it's ice cold, and then I pump it full of carbonation so I can burp all the way through the show.
Well, when I lived in Alaska, we would drive down the road, and there would just see these little waterfalls coming down from the mountain. And I remember there was this one that was right by the road. We'd always, on our way from Kenai to Anchorage, we would stop at this little waterfall, and we'd get a cup out and drink this icy, cold, clean. Of course, this was back in the 60s. I'm sure it's still that way, but it was so cold, and it was so just icy, cold, and delicious, and clear, and just great water. Great water. Remember that song, Water, 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 Water?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I lay in bed at night and I think about cold water, and I wanted to mention 2 rules that I have in life that I like to follow.
Okay.
And you may have heard this before, but I have it, and then I have a reverse of it. And it goes like this. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So if I'm going to explain that, then I'm going to say, just because you can do something and that you're free to do it, though it may harm or inconvenience or whatever, maybe it's just not ethical. So just because you can take that tip jar when nobody's looking, doesn't mean you should. Just because you can take the very last 5 lobster tails at the buffet doesn't mean you should. And people really should think about that. It's a good rule. I think it's something where you can self-check yourself and say, I know I can do this, but I'm not going to. And then the reverse of that is, just because you don't have to doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Right.
And I like to make this analogy with seatbelts in cars. Remember way back when there were no seatbelts in cars, and it was a big, long fucking fight between the government and automakers to put in seatbelts, which were just belts with little buckles on. But the auto industry fought it, and they no, it's going to add to the cost of everything. And this is a case of, just because you don't have to doesn't mean you shouldn't. And so they had to be forced to put seatbelts in cars when they really should have said to themselves, and they knew that seatbelts saved lives, but they had to be sued and forced to do something that they should have done. And even though they didn't have to, they should have done it. And that's one of the 2 rules that I like to follow. And I think everybody should think about that.
I was thinking about seatbelts. My seatbelt in the car was my mom's arm.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have seatbelts.
And then your head would hit the dash and you'd be like, well, I better pay attention.
Or not sit in the front.
Or not sit in the front.
Yeah, we did all those stuff. I had one year I had a Honda that I had bought, and it had this very unique seatbelt that ran across the top of the window. When I'd open the door, it would close on me. And I used to do this thing where I'd stick my head out the window and open the door, and it would take me and choke me like this. It was a bit I did. But they quit making them that way. But I thought it was great. You get in the car, and at least the cross section would go automatically across you. Then you still had to buckle
right.
Up. Anyway, how much time have we got left?
We are currently at 24:16, sir.
24:16.
So we have about 5 or 6 minutes left in broadcast.
Okay, well, we'll cover this in the next show because that's going to take up too much time. I want to, so tune in next week. I'm going to talk about hiring comedians. I've got a great thing. And I also wanted to talk about tonight, canting floss.
I'm sorry, camping floss?
Canting floss. Do you know who he is?
No, I do not.
Okay. Canting floss, and I put up a video of him there too. was someone you should everybody should take a look at. He was a huge, huge comedy star. He was a Mexican. He spoke English, and he was so huge. He was like the Mexican Charlie Chaplin, and he was in Around the World in 80 Days, and he was also in a movie called, one of my favorite movies of all time I saw when I was a kid, called Pepe. And if you want to run a video of it, I guess we didn't sync that up, did we? No, I forgot to run that because I didn't think I was going to run it. But I'll tell you what, tune in next week and we'll run that too. But he was the Mexican Charlie Chaplin, and because he was so famous, American filmmakers really couldn't ignore him because he was huge, bigger than America, because he encompassed not only Mexico, but any of the Spanish-speaking countries in South America and in Spain. And he kind of had droopy pants. And they in the 1960s, well, he was in Around the World in 80 Days, which was, I think, made in the early 60s. And then they did this old movie called Pepe. And we'll have a little shot, a clip of that or two. But he was really a comedic genius. And you, Paul, had never heard of him, along with probably 95% of the population.
And I've probably seen him a million times, right?
Well, no, not a million times, but you probably.
But at least I probably go, because I know character actors and bit actors, but yeah.
But he was one of the few Mexican stars to break into American movies and television. His character kind of was that of a Charlie Chaplin type character, a little thin mustache, and he spoke English. And if you ever get a chance, the movie Pepe is on YouTube, and you can watch that. And it's one of those movies where they had like 30 stars in it, and they put little pictures of the stars around the poster down to the bottom there. And Pepe had Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby, and just all these. Tony Curtis was in it, and all these old, really big time American actors built around the story of this poor little Mexican guy. And so tune in next week. I'll show you a little clip of him, or you can go to YouTube yourself and take a look at it. And that, I think, will do it for us for this week of the episode of the Kirchenbauer Half an Hour. I think I probably talked about 4 minutes.
Yeah, you did. You did really good. We're at 28, so there you go.
I tried to say. Also, please, like I said last week, I'm going to say this one more time. Please tell your friends, and my Facebook friends, all 5,000 of them, and the 1,500 on my YouTube channel, Bill Kirchenbauer, please go to Kirchenbauer Half an Hour. It's not spelled like half, H-A-L-F. It's half an hour, one word, Haffenhauer. Kirchenbauer Half an Hour. Tune in. Yeah, there's all little places and all that. Yeah, just go there and like and subscribe. And I said that if I get 5,000 subscribers, or when I get 5,000 subscribers, I will post the ever elusive, always wanted to be seen film Taking Al Back Home, which I produced and co-starred in. My dead father actually is a star, but it's a great little film, and I have given up trying to get it on Tubi or Pluto or Freevee or any of those things. You just can't. It's like knocking on a brick wall. So I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to tell the story, and it's a great story. And I'm going to really, when I get 5,000 viewers on this channel, Kirchenbauer Half an Hour, then I'm going to release it for a weekend, for 48 hours, and you can watch it for free. That's FREE. So please like and subscribe, invite your friends, watch the show, give us some feedback. Maybe someday we can figure out, Paul's in the Bay Area and I'm in Bangkok, Thailand. So it's kind of hard to figure out time. But maybe one day we'll do a live show, and I'll get up early or I'll stay up really late, and we can talk to you, and you can do these like this little thing here off to the right, where Eva says hey and Lisa says $10 and things like that. Gee, I feel like I'm an OnlyFans. I feel like I should show my boobs because it's an OnlyFans. Oh, missed them. All right. So anyway, we're working on it. Hey, we're building on it. I think every time every show's getting a little bit better. And I know I've gone over 30 minutes. So there's your 30 minutes, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week from the Paul Brumbaugh and I for the Kirchenbauer Half an Hour.